Yo, what's going on, guys? KrispyFlakes here. For today's video, we have the 10 biggest questions of the 2018-2019 NBA season. So I hope to give you guys answers to these questions, or at least my predictions going into the season. And as it's just started, man, there's so many questions out there. I have no idea what these even are, so hopefully, man, they're not too tough out there, but I think I can definitely plow right through it. So here we go. This is an article by Haley O'Shaughnessy. So let's see what Haley has to say about the NBA season. First question is, will Brandon Ingram make the leap? So what exactly do they mean by like leap? Because as of right now, would you even say he's borderline all-star, or do you think he needs to become more of a consistent player? I know last NBA season he averaged around 16 points, and that was as like the number one option of the team. I don't know how big a leap he could make in 1 year like that. I do expect him to be the second leading scorer of this team, unless the Lakers go out and make a big-time trade or something like that. But I would say, even if he played as good as last season with LeBron James on the squad, I feel like that would still be good enough. Like if he could average like 16 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists out there, do things like that. That's what this Lakers team needs. It's just, for him to be more consistent than anything. I don't think he needs to go out and be a 25, 26 point per game scorer for this team to have success out there. He just needs to be consistent, knock down the 3-point shot, which he's not doing inside the first game. It was 0 for 4. I think he'll be just fine. I really think the big issue with Brandon Ingram sometimes is like the pressure can get to him. And with LeBron on your team, yes, there's pressure of playing with LeBron, but when it comes to the actual gameplay, LeBron does take that pressure off of you. So hopefully he'll just be consistent and we'll be good with that. The next question we have, if you guys want to read this, I will have the link to the article in the comment section below. It says, are the Rockets better, worse, or the same? So I definitely don't think they're better, because last year, didn't they win like 65 wins or something? They got like 65 wins or something like that. As far as being the same, I mean, let's look at that. They gained Carmelo Anthony. I don't care what everybody says. Like, Carmelo Anthony is still a big time, I don't want to say a big time scorer, but still a legitimate scoring threat in the NBA. I do think eventually he will be starting for the Rockets, by the way, just because it's like you got Eric Gordon, you got Carmelo Anthony. We know what Eric Gordon is, and what Eric Gordon does, he can do that off the bench, where it's like I feel like they would benefit from having Melo starting on this team, as long as he plays within the system, of course, right? But they did lose Luke Munte, I never can pronounce his last name, and also Trevor Ariza, which, those guys right there was big for them defensively. So I will say that maybe they got a little better offensively, maybe, but even with that, it's like Trevor Ariza was still a solid offensive player and stuff. I mean, he's still, a 3-and-D type of player out there. But as far as like getting worse, they got a lot worse defensively. They really did. And then, not to mention, it's like, you just look at what the big guys of the Pelicans did to that Rockets squad out there, and there was just no answer for, Anthony Davis and Julius Randle and Mirotic. The switch guys out there wasn't really working. They tried doing a small ball lineup with PJ Tucker. That wasn't really working out there. So I would probably say I am leaning towards worse, just because of how important defense is in the NBA, how important it was to this Rockets team and their success. And it's like they were already one of the better offensive teams in the NBA, if not I don't want to say the best, because you got the Warriors out there too, but definitely one of the top 3 offensive teams in the NBA last season. So it's like getting Melo, it's just what it did defensively to losing those other guys was a lot more than what it meant for this team offensively with gaining Melo. So does that make sense? I don't know. So I would probably lean towards worse because of what they lost defensively. Next question we have, how will the middle of the West shuffle out? So I'm thinking pretty much the same way it did last season, and that was like 3 games separating the 3rd seed and also like not making the playoffs. It was that close, guys. I mean, the Nuggets did not make the playoffs last season because they ended up losing to the Timberwolves. I believe that was correct. They lost to the Timberwolves, and the Timberwolves ended up, I believe, getting swept or something like that in the first round. But it's going to be close. There is going to be teams in the Western Conference that are better than teams in the Eastern Conference, but the East teams are going to make the playoffs, and the West teams are not, just because of how deep it is out there. That's just really how it is, man. It's very unfortunate. There's teams out there that just have been suffering through that cycle for many years now, where it's like if they were out in the East, it would be a lot better for them. But I think it's just going to be, I don't know, man. I think it's going to be a train wreck. I think it's going to make every game this season matter, which is fun for an NBA fan, but at the same time, very stressful if you're trying to get yourself a playoff spot in the Western Conference. So you got your top teams out there. You got your Golden State Warriors, guys like there are teams like that. And then you got a lot of other teams out there you really just don't really know. Number 4, we have which team will feel the loss of enter franchise player the most. So we got guys listed like Kawhi Leonard, DeAndre Jordan, / Blake Griffin, DeMar DeRozan. Said maybe Minnesota. Okay, so I mean, isn't the obvious? Yeah, okay, it says right there, Cleveland Cavaliers is the correct answer, but also the most boringest answer. I feel like the Spurs will be fine because Kawhi didn't even really play last season anyway, and they got DeMar DeRozan. I think vice versa. Kawhi Leonard's been really good on the Raptors so far. If I had to choose like between one of these teams right here, I would probably have to say DeAndre Jordan on the Clippers, just because I look at the Clippers squad right now, like with DeAndre on there, they would have been a lot better this season, because right now I believe their starting center is like Marcin Gortat, and it's just like he's just washed up and he's like 34, 35, and just really should not be starting for an NBA team now. But at the same time, it's like DeAndre Jordan wasn't exactly going to carry that Clippers team, out to the NBA Finals or nothing like that. So I can understand maybe from like a rebuild standpoint, but even the Clippers, it's like that's a team that this offseason they want to try to get Kawhi Leonard. So it's like you want to keep guys like DeAndre Jordan on your team unless it's absolutely going to kill your cap, which I don't think it would in this case. So I would probably say that one hurts the most is DeAndre leaving the Clippers just because of who they got to replace them. It simply did not work out. All right, next question we have. Who finds a jumper first, Giannis Antetokounmpo or Ben Simmons? No doubt in my mind, Giannis. I expect him to actually be around a 35% three-point shooter this season. I was watching a lot of preseason games, and this dude was shooting far behind the three-point line, guys. I'm talking far behind the three-point line. Ben Simmons, while he is like going crazy with the triple-doubles and stuff like that, and really even a more improved rebounder this season, I still don't think he's ready to shoot the three ball. I really don't think he cares to add it to his game. Eventually, yeah, it's like, if he proves that he can be successful as an NBA player, then yeah, maybe he focuses more on it. What I really don't understand, though, the big question here is why is Markelle Fultz and Ben Simmons in the starting lineup together? Because it just doesn't make sense to have both those guys out there. I think the 76ers need to either trade Markelle Fultz, bring out the bench, do something, because it just doesn't make sense to have those guys out there, especially when you have JJ Redick on your team, which is the perfect option alongside Ben Simmons. But to answer the question, who finds a jumper first? Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think he has a big time improvement with that shot this season. Next up, we have, can Anthony Davis shoulder enough of the load to be MVP? Yes, he can, but he will not win it. Guys, it's been a long time since a big man has won the MVP in an NBA season. I'm thinking it was probably Dirk Nowitzki, right? Which was like quite a ways back. Was that like 2008, something like that? Maybe there was somebody since then, but I don't believe so. So I don't know if it's just like a dying breed of the NBA big man, the NBA. I don't know if it's just because people don't really respect what big guys do in the NBA anymore. But also, I think you gotta look at it too, is that when it comes to the MVP, a lot of teams, or a lot of like people that vote for that, they now look at stats, which is why Russell Westbrook won it 2 seasons ago, is because he averaged the triple-double. You look at James Harden last season, he got the points, he got the assists, he also got the rebounds. The thing about being a big guy in the NBA is that outside of points and rebounds, you don't really have that third stat that you can really rack up. You got Jokic out there, I guess, that can get triple doubles, but even that, it's not like he's like a big time 40 point per game scorer like Anthony Davis can be. So I feel like that's the big reason why we don't see big guys win it, is just because it's so stat oriented. You just really don't see the big guys dropping those crazy triple doubles or quadruple doubles or things like that. But does Anthony Davis deserve one? Yes, he does. And if he wins one this season, I'll be extremely happy for him. I just don't know if it's going to happen. But it says right here, Davis ended up averaging 30 points, 12 rebounds per game in the Pelicans' final 33 games. Those are MVP numbers. But at the same time, you got to win games out there too. It says, what will the tank wars look like? I can't really think of a big time team that needs to tank this season. It's like you got the Hawks out there, but they're not going to tank on purpose. They're just naturally going to tank because the team's not very good. I guess I could perhaps maybe see the Charlotte Hornets doing that, but at the same time, Michael Jordan doesn't really seem like that to have like that tanking personality. I feel like the Mavericks, who were kind of accused of tanking last season, I feel like they have their pieces out there for the most part, but you look at some of the players coming like RJ Barrett and Zion Williamson, it's like, why wouldn't you want to tank? Like, you definitely want to get one of those guys on your team. I feel like the Suns are going to be competitive this year. The Cleveland Cavaliers, I don't really expect them to be very good. I know a lot of people are going to fight me on that, but even in the case of that team, it's like I could just see them just not really tanking, just not being a good team. I don't see a team out there that I think is going to extremely underperform, unless there's just somebody I'm just thinking of. Maybe the Memphis Grizzlies, because it's like with Mike Conley, Marc Gasol, I could see that team trading one of those guys away, because with those guys, it's like that team is going to be okay, but not really good enough to, maybe the 8th seed. Like, I would say that's the ceiling for the Memphis Grizzlies, so I could see them possibly tanking and trying to get, a top 3 draft pick and just, starting the rebuild all over again. All right, next up we have, who will be this season's Pacers? So pretty much the team out there that, going into the season wasn't really expected to do much last year. Of course, the big talk was how much the Pacers got ripped off in that trade for Paul George, but guess what? It's looking like the Pacers had probably won that trade due to the play of Victor Oladipo. As far as like teams that I'm really expecting to make a big jump this season, you know, I'm feeling pretty damn good about the Dallas Mavericks. I don't know, man. It's just something about Doncic and Dennis Smith. I feel like those guys are really going to figure it out. Although being in the Western Conference, it is going to be tough for them to make the playoffs. As far as the Eastern Conference, I feel like the Brooklyn Nets could potentially make that jump, but, you know, D'Angelo, it says right, yeah, literally right there, man, like D'Lo would need to be like the Victor Oladipo out there, where it's like, okay, it's time to take the all-star step, and I don't know, he definitely has the potential to do that. I just don't know if he will. But also, a big-time player that I'm expecting to be in the running for most improved is Jarrett Allen of the Brooklyn Nets. I feel like if he can step up, then they are going to be a big problem, because this dude was shooting threes, throwing back Blake Griffin in their first game, and just doing all the right things out there. I was actually saying on Twitter that Jarrett Allen looks like Rudy Gobert with a three-point shot, and people were kind of roasting me for that. But at the same time, man, it's just, I don't know, he was looking really good out there. So I could see the Nets kind of making that jump, and but then again, the Pacers, weren't they like a 5th or 6th seed? So I don't see the Nets really doing that. So I don't know, man. I don't really particularly have one. We have number 9, and also here's number 10 for you guys because they're right there. What rotation will the Boston Celtics settle on? Okay, so without looking at the article, I got my eyes closed. The rotation I would go with, you know, barring a big time trade for Anthony Davis or something like that, I would go with point guard Terry Rozier. I'm just joking. Point guard Kyrie Irving, shooting guard Jalen, small forward / power forward. These two are interchangeable, whatever makes more sense defensively and matchups and stuff like that. Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum, and then center Al Horford, which I feel like that's their lineup right now, right? You really don't get away from that. I mean, I can't see them benching Gordon Hayward or Jason Tatum, and Al Horford's not going to bench, neither is Kyrie Irving. I guess really the only interchangeable one maybe is Jaylen Brown, but even he's looking really good. So it's like maybe if you want some more defense, you put Marcus Smart in there, but Terry Rozier and Marcus Smart both look good off the bench. So yeah, I don't really see them going away from that lineup, nor should they. I feel like it's the best one available for them currently, but at the same time, it's like, in the small ball NBA, you can definitely get away with one of those guys that power forward, but I can see where they would have struggles defensively maybe down the road. And finally, we got the last question. How will the new offensive rebounding rule affect the game? It says the shot clock will now be set to 14 seconds instead of 24, shaving off more than half the time offenses are accustomed to. Okay, so what are my expectations from this? Well, it is the big time rule, because like being able to like set the shot clock and stuff like that, that's big time. It's like not only does it take seconds off the the game clock and stuff, which in a lot of these 2-minute games, 24 seconds is a freaking eternity, right? So I'm expecting a lot more turnovers, because I'm expecting teams to get that offensive rebounding, offensive rebound, and just trying to rush something out there, which could result in a lot of mistakes being made. I expect a lot more kick out 3-pointers, because it would be easy, especially with like the Warriors, to get the offensive rebound, kick it out to the wide open Stephen Curry, bam, he shoots a long 3-pointer, you're good with that. A lot more points and paints, because the big guys are not going to so much be looking to pass it out, except just going up with it, which in results can also add a lot more fouls to the game, because a lot of big guys are going to be fouling the other big guys out there trying to get that block and stuff like that. Not only that, but they're being frustrated from giving up the offensive rebound, which can end up in frustrations and fouls. So there's a lot of different things that can happen from this. It's a big time rule, man. But at the same time, while I know there's a lot of people that aren't really a big fan of this, I kind of do like it, because I like how it speeds up the pace of the game. So we'll see what actually happens. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching this video. Do me a favor and be sure to drop that like, and also check out my second channel, Extra Crispy. I'm posting NBA content every single day on there. Peace out, my friends.